darlings. Okay, we are back for another. I think we have quite a few couples that have come out of the pods this season's this Love Is Blind season, which is season 7 from the DC area. Anywho, so on our screen we have Alexandra, and Tim, and I thought they had an organic connection. I felt like they just had this easy banter about them. It wasn't like, I don't know, they just kind of, it's kind of like in the real world where you just sit next to someone and then you start having conversation with them and you just hit it off and maybe, sparks fly. That's how I feel about Alex, who is a 33-year-old producer, and Tim, also 33. He's a web content strategist, and we still have many more episodes left. But these two have seemed to hit it off in the pods. They bonded over how their parents' relationships influenced their own views of marriage. Like in episode 1, Tim opened up about the death of his 2 older sisters, and Alex, tells him that both of her parents were diagnosed with MS, multiple sclerosis, which is a chronic disease that affects the central nervous system. And she also expounded on how, like, her dad, who has had it or has it, or his current wife, her stepmom, has been such a grounding force in his life, and her, her example of just like unconditional love, because she is the primary caregiver to her husband, Alex's dad. And she said that she does it day in, day out, and it's hats off to her. It's such a comforting thing for the patient. And also, let's not forget the caregivers who has to provide the care for their loved ones, who require round the clock care and attention. It's also a staggering sorry, I was just remembering something. It's a staggering amount of juggling, where you can feel like you're so exhausted, but you can't stop. And then on the other hand of that, you feel like you're not giving enough, like you're not helping enough. There's that tug of war and the emotions that come with that. And for her mom, for Alex's mom, she said that, like, she had a partner for 15 plus years and they were great. And then when her mom actually was diagnosed with MS, that's when the partner was just like, peace out. Yeah. That's like a landslide just coming down on you, one after the other. And I feel bad for her mom, and hopefully her mom has, around the clock care, who is able to be there for her, and things like that. For Tim, he does say that his 2 older sisters had passed on, and by like episode 4 though, I was kind of like, is this going to be something that you're going to continuously bring up? Like, you want to share again hard times in your life that you've overcome. But like by episode 4, I was like, Tim, is this going to be the the central focal point of your story, which is just, the darkest days that you've encountered in your life. Not saying that it's a demerit. I'm not like mitigating the effects of this in his life, but it's like, don't you want to know how you could potentially fit into Alex's life, and how, these shared hurts and tragedies in your lives, how can you continue to utilize that in a productive manner towards your potential engagement and or potential, married life. I was just like, sir, can you share something else? Is there something else that you want to share with us? I'm just saying, you don't want to overshare, like over underline these tragedies in your life. I'm not saying you shouldn't, but there has to be something else that has happened in your life that has, uplifted your spirits too. I'm just saying. Again, I'm not trying to say like he shouldn't share tragedies and hurts in his life, but that shouldn't be the only thing that you can share in your life that has happened in your life. So, anywho, Tim does propose to Alex in episode 4. She accepts. They finally meet face to face, and they're, as you can see, very lovey-dovey. And they all travel to Mexico with the other couples in the pod. And I really thought like they would be smooth sailing, like kind of like a little bit less like sparks on fire than, say, compared to Ramses and Marissa, but still be, very lovey-dovey, canoodly, maybe a little PDA here and there. But while initially that appeared to be true, also they were like, roasting each other lightly. I mean, sometimes you gotta like take a jab at your partner or something, see how they would react, and they're lightly, okay. I'm not saying like roast them all the way. They do encounter like some difficulties during the honeymoon. Apparently, per reports, they've had like an off-screen argument, and that was not a very good, like, ooh, they had like again an off-screen like argument that was substantial enough, but during like her confessional, Alex said that like her behavior was caused by homesickness and she didn't want to discuss it. For Tim, he felt like he was shunned and disrespected, and he also said that Alex covered his mouth during an argument and felt belittled. He further says that, tells Alex, that I love you. You have a ring in your finger, but at a certain point, I had to have some respect for myself too. Like, I have to figure out how to get in a good space and place again where I can see you as my wife and the mother of my children versus an adversary. I added that part, versus the adversary. Wow. At the end of the discussion, he was still kind of heated, so he didn't want to stay in the same room with her. Although Alex was like, okay, come back to the room. Let's patch up. Let's reset. But still, they seem to still be together? Maybe? I don't know. From the previous, though, I mean, jeez. Honestly, it's like the previous are already giving away the premise of like how the tone of the show, the next episodes would be, because Alex is having a discussion. Again, this is from the preview for the upcoming episodes. Alex is shown having a separate discussion with her family, and presumably it's about Tim. In the preview, she says, you are my family, and if you guys don't like him, then I can't see myself with him. So again, presumably she's referring to Tim. Wow. Hmm. Okay. Okay. Well, I guess we'll have to wait and see for the new episodes to see if Alex and Tim are able to make it past their issues as adults and or just left it where it is in Mexico. The love and the sparks. And then did they go off like their own merry way separately, or did they go on their own merry way together as a couple still engaged and potentially getting married? We'll see. We shall see. Anywho, darlings, that is all we have for now for these two. And hopefully, oh my goodness, and hopefully, we have at least two or three or four or five couples making it to the altar. But you know what? I would only want to see that if they have really in their hearts completely accepted that they have to work together to make their marriage work. Because otherwise, I don't want to see them saying "I do" and then just like end up breaking up, after the show airs. Anywho, darlings, remember you are all kinds of fabulous, and there is nothing else for you to do but be your fabulous self, and to remember to leave grace for others, and to always, always, always journey in gratitude. I shall see you all, darling dears, in the next commentary video that I make. Toodaloo for now. Bye.